I'm Michelle Grimm. I am the Senior Director of Conversational AI with Fifth Third Bank. Well, they serve 5 different lines of business. We have call centers that have 5 different lines of business. We are located in Cincinnati, Grand Rapids, and overseas in the Philippines as well. But one of the things that we've seen, especially in our consumer call center, is that we've really worked hard utilizing this data. We have 3 sites to have the sites work together. They weren't necessarily working together before in their coaching efforts, but now they use this data and they have a collaboration call. Having that call with them and saying, hey, we noticed on, last month you went up in scores. What were you doing? How have you been coaching? And they've been really best practice sharing together. And so then they're taking that and then using that and coaching their teams at the different sites. So I think one of the things that we really started to look at in our operations was, contact centers, call centers, they tend to have similar core metrics that we've always just measured our agents on because that's the way things have been done. And our head of consumer operations started asking the questions of, are these metrics, do they really still matter? So we started looking at average handle time, for example. As you bring in more and more automations, we know that more complex issues are going to get to agents, which could often lead to average handle time increasing. So instead of just looking at getting people off the phone as quick as possible, we use the sentiment scoring with Enlighten to say, okay, where is actually the sweet spot in that handle time that we're okay with, and it's might be 3 to 5 minutes, not just getting them off after that 5-minute mark, then we start to see sentiment and the customer experience go down. So that's where we're starting to look at how sentiment impacts some of those metrics, and that's just an example of saying, okay, what should we really be targeting? So we've been looking at feedback and the type of feedback we're giving our agents, as well as the Enlighten behaviors, kind of merging it together and really trying to figure out, as we're looking at not only just the call and the sentiment scores, the overall month view, if you will. If we narrow in on these 5 Enlighten behaviors and looking at those, then we can start to make traction and then we can move on from there. And I think what's really key from how agents receive this is making sure that we're emphasizing, we're looking at an aggregate, right? We're not gonna pull out one call and just really hammer that one. We may listen to the call together to say, okay, what did you hear? Here's what happened with this Enlighten behaviors in this one. How could we do better? And really talk through it in that manner. But we're looking at the aggregate. So for the month, and we're kind of color coding it, standard red, yellow, green. So if it's green, we may not focus on this one other than to say, hey, let's actually pull one up and hear what you did really well. So we can re-emphasize positive behaviors as well as ones that we're maybe not focusing on and that are opportunities. So I think it's really important that we're focusing on the positive as well as the opportunities. And that has helped with this receptiveness for our agents by doing that. Whenever you give the positive feedback to agents, it's going to translate into the customer experience, right? It's at the end of the day, we are a customer-based industry. We rely on our customers to want to do business with us. They say, one bad interaction, they're going to tell 7 people, but you need multiple positive interactions for a customer to talk about it. So we want our agents they're the face of our bank for the most part, or the voice, if you will, because they're over the phone. So it's really important that they continue to think about what is it that I'm good at, that I continue to hone those skills, as well as work on other improvement areas too. And that translates to higher sentiment scores for us, for our customers and the Enlighten metrics.